What if the thing you've always wanted was the very thing that destroyed you? Since the beginning of time we've dreamed of power, flight, strength, immortality, but above all else, intelligence. The ability to see more, understand faster, think deeper than anyone else. We imagine it as enlightenment, as freedom, as transcendence. But what if it isn't? What if hyper-intelligence isn't an upgrade, but a sentence? What if the moment your mind surpasses human limits is the moment you lose everything that made life bearable? The seduction of a limitless mind. Picture a mind without gaps. Every memory, every fact, every concept perfectly indexed. No confusion, no uncertainty, no forgetting. You don't learn anymore, you access. Languages unfold instantly. Complex theories collapse into simple structures. The universe begins to look solvable. This is the fantasy, the siren song. But this isn't about being smarter. This is about becoming something else entirely. A mind that never wonders, never pauses, never struggles. And without struggle, meaning begins to erode. The relentless flood of awareness. Now imagine there is no filter. Every sound reaches you at full volume. The electrical hum in the walls, the subtle friction of clothing, the microscopic shifts in air pressure. Your senses don't rest, they attack. Walking down a street feels like standing in the center of a storm of data. Every moment demands attention, every second drains you. And sleep becomes shallow, because the mind never truly powers down. Silence no longer exists. The tyranny of perfect memory. And then there is memory. Not selective, not merciful, every failure preserved in perfect resolution. Every embarrassment replayed in full emotional intensity. Every trauma stored, untouched by time. You don't remember the past. You relive it, again, and again. For most of us, forgetting is healing. For you, nothing fades. The mind becomes a museum of pain, with no exit. When logic devours meaning, with infinite intelligence comes infinite analysis. Emotions become chemical equations. Love becomes attachment patterns. Hope becomes probability. You watch people cry at weddings, and all you see are evolutionary impulses. You hear laughter, and calculate social conditioning. Beauty loses its mystery. Art becomes structure. Faith becomes error. And when every experience is reduced to mechanics, life begins to feel hollow. Not meaningless, but overexplained. The paralysis of infinite choice. Every decision unfolds into countless branches. You see all outcomes, all consequences, all regrets, before they happen. No path feels safe, no option feels clean. Choosing what to eat, choosing who to love, choosing whether to speak. Each moment becomes a calculation with unbearable weight. When you can foresee every possible loss, inaction starts to feel like the only mercy. The loneliness beyond intelligence. And then there is isolation. How do you speak to someone who can't follow the first step of your thought? Conversations slow to a crawl. You simplify, you dilute, you pretend, you read faces too well. You see hesitation before words are spoken. You detect lies before they're formed. Spontaneity disappears when nothing surprises you anymore. Connection becomes impossible when every interaction feels scripted. You are surrounded by people, yet utterly unreachable. Seeing too much. You see systems everywhere, in governments, in relationships, in human behavior. You recognize manipulation, predict collapse, anticipate betrayal. Trust becomes irrational, hope becomes dangerous, and once you see the machinery behind the world, you can never unsee it. Ignorance was never weakness, it was protection. Redefining intelligence. So maybe intelligence was never about expansion. Maybe it was about balance. About knowing just enough to survive, but not so much that you suffocate. Our flaws, forgetting, bias, emotion, aren't bugs in the system. They are limiters, safeguards, mercy. They allow us to love without calculation, to hope without proof, to live without certainty. The final truth. A mind without limits is not a godlike mind. It is a trapped mind. And perhaps the greatest intelligence is not the ability to know everything, but the ability to live peacefully with what we don't.